Hi, Social Samosa. Thanks for having me here, and it's great to speak to you. So I think first of all, it's a very unique experience. I've said this a lot of times. For me, working for 20 years, work life is a big part of going to office is a big part of what I do. I've hardly taken a break. I've hardly taken any holidays. It's. I mean, I'm missing it honestly, but it's a very unique experience for me. Both me and my wife work, so whether it's work from home or work from outside, I think the one big challenge that work from home brings for couples, especially who are both working, is really who will take care of the child who also is not in school right now. So I have a 5-year-old, and the challenge is really taking kind of breaks in between both of us, trying to make sure that we're covering for each other. I think that's the big challenge. It's a lot of fun, spending so much time as a family together. Since my kid is born, it's not been possible for us, except maybe a short vacation here or there, to really spend time. So that's the good part about working from home is really spending time. A typical day is, getting up in the morning, all of us starting our day as a family, having tea. I've started doing intermittent fasting because what tends to happen is that when you are at home, you tend to gain weight because you pretty much want to eat all day. So I fast for about 17 hours a day, and I eat for about 7 hours. So trying to follow that as a routine. So just morning is starting off with a cup of tea. That's about it. But spending a lot of time with my son and trying to get me and my wife are spending a lot of time with him to get his. He's also doing school from home. So spending time with his projects, what he's supposed to do. So that's a lot of the stuff. I get on to about 6 calls a day now, which was much lesser when I was actually working in office. I think there's much more work at home now. Lots and lots of calls, lots and lots of planning, lots and lots of strategizing on what is going to happen. So a lot of the entire week goes in planning all those things. But beyond that, as a person, what I have done is that, so I love eating. I've always loved eating. But again, work from home means that the help is lesser. The normal help, the normal cook cannot come. So I've started cooking a little bit, which I never did in my life. First time cooking. And another passion that I always had is making nice cocktails. So now I spend a lot of evenings making good cocktails. So I think that's a little bit of new things that I've picked up. I always wanted to get into mixology and try newer cocktails that are there. This is giving me time to look at that in terms of getting into mixology. So I think that in a nutshell has been a personal change that has happened. But I'm looking forward to getting back to work. And of course, this call is now happening just as the Prime Minister announced that the lockdown extends a few more days to the 3rd of May. More than expected lines. I think we're all preparing for that. Now it's the time to really kind of hunker down and strategize for the future. There is going to be challenges, but it's not the time to get stressed. It's the time to really look forward and what is going to happen. Take stock of where you are and move forward. I think that's my thought in terms of where we are. So my personal, I like. I mean, I'm not like stress, but it's the part of which really drives me to do better is when there is stress. So I'm not going to say I enjoy stress. Yes, I do get stress. It's not like I don't get stress. I have, being cooped up at home. There are fights that happen. That all is a part of the stress that is there. But as I said, you need an outlet. For me, as I said, making a nice drink, eating the right kind of food, making brownies. Basically, you need to keep yourself busy. I understand that a lot of people. I have a family, so I'm actually very privileged in that case. That's the most important part of people just having a person to talk to is very important. I know a lot of people are staying by themselves, which is the biggest challenge I believe in this kind of a scenario. More than work, I think that is one of the biggest problems that I see people having. So one advice is for especially people who are alone at home or are away from family. Is please be in touch with people. Please help out your colleagues. So what we try to do, what I've tried to do is also, have in chats with my teams, which are nothing to do with work, because there are 200 people. A lot of people are single, living by themselves. We want to keep on having conversations with them, whether it's VC, hopefully. I mean, that's the kind of thing that we do, or whether it's a call. Uh, be in touch with them. So that's a very important part. Is try to make sure that you're part of a community, a part of friendships, a part of family. It's very important. So that's number one. It keeps you sane. Number two is in a scenario like this, it is going to be challenging, but I think we'll come out of it much more quickly than people realize. People are getting too stressed in 1 month. So technically, we've lost 1 month. We've lost April. Okay, that's it. I think we can make do that in the next couple of months. Yes, May, June, July are going to be challenging, but then I do feel September, October, and the Diwali time will bring a lot of cheer, a lot of a lot of business back. So, in the whole context of things, just think about it as saying that we've just lost 1 month. Okay, let's not get so much stressed on saying that okay, people lose their jobs. My request to a lot of people and a lot of businesses is that take a call maybe sometime in May, June, and don't take a call now. Don't be so hasty about your decisions. So my only thing is that just be careful. I think we'll bounce back very quickly. We are a very resilient lot, and I think that's something which I would like to. It's not all doom and gloom as people are making out to be, especially in India. Yes, it's going to be a big challenge, massive challenge across the world. I feel that if we do what we are set out to do for the next 15, 18 days, and we are at home for the next till the 3rd of May, I think we will come out of this in a much better place. So I do see light at the end of the tunnel, as they say. It's actually brought a lot of people closer, I think. So a lot of fun moments, almost every other weeknight, and I'm going to say this out openly, is that we have a VC party. Technology has helped. I'm in the digital domain, so I'm very happy with that. And as I said, we've had some really, really great moments with friends, with families, just chatting on VCs, which we lost touch with. Because we're so every day working so hard that we've lost touch with people. Now it doesn't matter, whether in India, whether in the US, whether you're in Australia. My childhood friends live across the world. Some of them are in Australia, some of them are in the UK, some of them are in the US. We are having VC calls which we've never had for years now. And I think this has given us time to get in touch with people across, because it's nothing to do with physically being there. I think this has helped the world become a more closer kind of a place that is there, and of course in India as such. So yeah, so there are a lot of good things that have come out of it, and yeah, the VC parties are a lot of fun. My favorite and very simple dish is tandoori chicken. I keep on making that. I'm not the best cook as such, but that's thankfully I have an oven, so that makes it easier. That and a chocolate brownie. These are the two things that I've made really well. And from a cocktail perspective, I've made a lot. So from sangrias to an old-fashioned, I'm always experimenting. But my best one till date has been the old-fashioned. Easy cocktail, but that's the one that I think I've made quite well. And I'm getting good at it. Now I don't need to see recipes. I'm experimenting on my own. So maybe I'll come up with my own cocktail. So one of the targets is by the end of this, make my own cocktail and come out with my own cocktail, which I'll name Shams's cocktail or something. I don't know, but let's see. Hopefully, not a hobby, but so this as I said, mixology was something that I always wanted to do. So that's something that I'm doing as a passion. Cooking is a new thing that I suddenly realized that I can do. I think a lot of people, it's not just me. Everyone realized that everyone can cook. When to feed yourself, everyone can cook. But clearly, one thing that I want to do as a bucket list, and I've been thinking for a very long time, is directing a movie. It's been one bucket list for a very, very long time. So what I'm doing now is trying to arm myself with understanding how to do that, taking classes, understanding how that can happen, because that's one big bucket list item that I want to do at some point in my life. So I'm preparing myself right now by just understanding, looking at classes, how directing is happening, what are the kind of nuances that are there, because that's one thing that I always wanted to do. So yeah, so that's one thing that I will do at some point in my time. I mean, not some point. I've given myself 5 years. In the next 5 years, I do want to direct a movie that will be there, and with enough and more digital movies going on, I think I'll have a shot at what at it. So I think that's really one passion point of movie. So, so my days are pretty much the same. I don't think people what is a weekday, what is a weekend really doesn't exist in this kind of a scenario. We try to make sure that you have a weekday or a weekend. We try to make sure that, Fridays and Saturdays, we kind of dress up as if we are out, going out for dinner, to just have that feel of having that kind of a life that is there. But a typical day ends at about, so not ends, but, is about at 8 o'clock. Again, having dinner with my son, putting him off to sleep. There are about 3 stories that he wants to hear every time we put him off to sleep. So that's there. And then the last couple of hours is just catching up on stuff with my wife, where we're watching some movies, or we just get about an hour and a half of television. We just don't get time. So we are not able to binge watch like a lot of people do. So binge watching happens typically at that time, and then of course my cocktails come out at that time. So that's my stress buster by the end of the day. Don't get stressed. We're going to come out of this much stronger. I think there are so many positives that are coming out of this. I think this 1 month is actually, yes, of course, there is coronavirus. Yes, there is a lot of problems that the world is facing and India is facing. But I'm an eternally optimistic person, so I'm looking at it at the bright side. And the bright side is that it's taught us a lot. I think this 1-2 months is going to, first of all, set the earth about 7 years better off in terms of the pollution and the way we're destroying this world. Just these 2-3 months is going to help in terms of just bringing that balance back quite a lot. So I think that's one big thing. And that you're seeing it in your cities where you're sitting, you can see stuff much more clearly. So I think that's there. Working from home is going to be a big part of how we proceed into the future, even after things go back to normal. With our cities getting more difficult to travel in 2 hours, 3 hours everywhere that we are going in, I think working from home is going to become a big part of what we do if we normalize it. So I think we'll be back to normal very quickly. September, October, we'll be back. And I think we will be looking back at this time and saying, okay, it was just a month. Yes, it was a problem, but I think we'll be back to normal.